Collecting data with Budburst helps scientists better understand how climate change impacts plants. Anyone can become a Budburst community scientist and help us answer important climate change questions. All you have to do is watch plants in your own backyard as they go through important seasonal changes, such as blooming or leaf color change. When you observe the timing of seasonal changes in plants and animals, you are studying phenology. At Budburst, we use phenology observations from around the world to help us understand how climate change is impacting plants. Global shifts in temperature can affect when plants receive seasonal cues. For example, if spring-like temperatures begin to happen earlier in the calendar year, like an unusually warm February, plants could respond to these temperatures and begin blossoming. This might not sound like a bad thing, but it can leave plants vulnerable to frosts and winter storms that will damage flowers and harm the plant. It can also mean that plants bloom before pollinators are ready to visit blossoms, harming both plants and pollinators. We want to understand these timing changes because when plants change, it can affect entire ecosystems. Anyone can make a phenology observation. All you have to do is notice what plants are doing and when they're doing it. Have you ever noticed when wildflowers get buds and flowers in the spring? Do you notice when leaves change colors in the fall? Then you're already observing phenology. Let's work together to send those observations to scientists. First, find a plant. You can observe any plant you want, but most people choose plants near their homes so they can easily observe them over and over. You will need to know what kind of plant you are observing because different types of plants have different phases of phenology or phenophases. At Budburst, we place plants into 5 distinct groups: wildflowers and herbs, deciduous trees and shrubs, conifers, broadleaf evergreens, and grasses. Most people observe wildflowers or deciduous trees because these groups tend to be easier to identify and the phenophases are recognizable. It is easiest to make an observation on a species of plant you already know, but if you aren't sure, we can help. When you take a photo of your plant, our technology will give you some potential species suggestions. Once you've correctly identified your plant, you'll start making your observation. When you collect data for Budburst, you'll look at different parts of your plant, usually the flowers, leaves, and fruits, and tell us what each plant part is doing at that time of year. Each plant part will go through different phenophases as the seasons change. Let's take a look at a deciduous tree. In the spring, you will see the flowers going through different phenophases. First, a bud will form. Then it will burst open, and the flowers will start to bloom. Eventually, the flowers will start to fade and wither. All of these different phenophases are important data for Budburst. Any flowers that were pollinated will bear fruit, and you will see these fruits grow and ripen throughout the summer. As spring turns to summer, you will start to see the leaves begin to unfold. In a deciduous tree, fall will mean that the leaves begin to change color and eventually fall from the tree. Depending on the type of plant you observe, you will see slightly different plant parts and phenophases. For example, in conifers, you will observe cones, needles, and pollen. When you make an observation, our phenophase wheels will tell you what plant part to observe, and each phenophase that plant part goes through throughout the year. Read the description for each phenophase and choose which one best matches what you see on your plant. Along with the plant phenophase data, you'll also tell Budburst where the plant is located and when you made the observation. This helps Budburst use the data to understand when plants are going through seasonal changes and how it differs across the world. You can send data to Budburst via our mobile app or using a computer. Download the Budburst app via your phone's app store and start an observation by snapping a photo. Visit budburst.org to learn more and log observations online. Simply make a Budburst account and add your first observation. With your help, we can uncover the stories of how plants are responding to our changing climate.